everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome you to the panel on Bridging Borders, Women Powering Indo-US Cybersecurity. I am honored to serve as the moderator of this panel. I am Gurdeep Kaur. I am the advisor for Suraksha Catalyst, have been in cyber for over 20 plus years and have spent multiple years in the cyber leadership roles. And I'm confident you will find this panel useful wherever you are in your journey in the cybersecurity. Now, this topic is personal to me. I said that I have been in multiple leadership roles, but when I first joined, I didn't see women like me in the leadership roles. It took mentorship, sponsorship, persistence on my own also to be where I could reach from the leadership perspective. And that's why conversations like these matter. It's not simply, representative. It's not just like visibility. Representation is not visibility. It's a catalyst for change. We are here to celebrate the impact women are making in security every day through innovation, resilience, and leadership, right? So we will talk candidly and we will ask questions. We will take, what it takes to thrive, overcome challenges, be resilient, and lift others as we rise, right? So today's panel is proudly sponsored by Suraksha Catalyst, and it's an incredible initiative supporting cybersecurity companies founded by professionals of Indian origin. So Suraksha Catalyst is more than a platform. It's a growing Indo-US ecosystem committed to empowering the diverse voices and building the next generation of cybersecurity companies and professionals. So we thank them for making this dialogue possible. With that, let's dive in. We have a dynamic duo of panelists, and I'm excited for the perspectives that they will share. So let's dive in. Very, very proud, very privileged to have Vandana Verma here and have Sakshi Porwal here. And I will really be honored if, Vandana, you start with your own intro in your voice, and then please hand it over to Sakshi.
Thank you so much, Gurdeep, for inviting us to be part of this wonderful panel. And thanks to Suraksha Catalyst for actually making it happen. Hi, everyone. I'm Vandana, and I'm currently part of Snyk, which is a software security company. When I'm not working for Snyk, I am part of Black Hat Review Board for US, Asia, and Europe. Apart from that, I've served on OWASP Global Board for 4 years, and also involved with a lot of open source projects with Linux Foundation, OpenSSF, and OWASP. That's about me. Over to you, Sakshi.
Thank you, and thanks, Gurdeep, for having me here. My name is Sakshi Porwal. I am the global CISO for the company called Compunnel. I'm also heading their cybersecurity consulting practice at the same time. Majority of my time goes in working with my team internally and driving strategic decisions, as well as working with my customers and helping them safeguard their environment and mature their controls. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Thank you. Great. We have a powerhouse here. So let's dive right into the questions that I'm sure the audience will find very valuable. So start with you, Vandana. So both of you have remarkable careers, as we mentioned, but more importantly, remarkable careers as women of Indian origin, right? So how has your cultural background shaped you, as a leader, your leadership style in cybersecurity?
If I talk about leadership styles, especially coming from India, there are two things that I've learned in cybersecurity or in general when I started off. First is resilience. Resilience is something which is very important when you're working on any project, anything in cybersecurity. And the other one is resourcefulness, but in India we call it as jugaad. So that's something that's very important and I've learned. And when it comes to a personal leadership style, in India, there are a lot of communities who are solving the problems together. Your problem is not your own problem. There are people around you who can, with whom you can discuss, share, and then we can solve the problem together. And that's what helped me in team building activities, because that's something which was very important for me, to be not just a manager or a person who's managing the team, but to be a person who's enabling other people, working together and being a leader, not just that one person who's just doing everything. Another thing, if I have to say, that being taught to listen rather than just speaking and sharing my own thoughts. Listen, understand what the other person has to say. Maybe there are some good ideas that I don't have, they have it. So that's something which is very integral part of my leadership style. And if I have to just summarize my leadership style in 2 words, it's more curiosity and chaos control. That's something which is my leadership style.
Awesome. That's beautiful. All right, Sakshi.
I think a lot has to do with if I look at myself, right, like how I got my values and what kind of helped me persuade a career in security, right? Like I think a lot of our Indian households have very big respect for education, right? Like being persistent, what you said, right? Along with having that empathy for others and being humble, and I guess like I came from a background where all of this mattered a lot, right? Like a lot of the Indian families would focus on getting their kids to the right education system at the first place, and I think that's where a very big difference lies as well, right? Like India at the very start promotes STEM education, which is something that comes a little later in United States.
Great responses, and I couldn't agree with you more, because again, myself, I grew up back home in New Delhi, India, and lot of focus on education, lot of focus on STEM, lot of persistence and resilience, because we know that our parents are spending not just the time, money, energy on educating us, and this is what we want to make them proud. But it's not just about the family. We want to make the community, the state, the nation proud, and that's why I'm glad to see that where you guys are today from the leadership perspective. So excellent. All right, moving on to the next question. Actually, so this is I would say key to the panel from the perspective of course, Vandana, you work for the company Snyk that is tied to US, and you of course are living in US. So what opportunities do you see for deeper cybersecurity collaboration between India and the US? Like, those opportunities could be in terms of talent, product, awareness, and then leadership. So where do you see those opportunities? And Sakshi, if you want to take this first.
Sure. I think the opportunities are immense, right? Like, I mean, India brings in a very big talent pool. We have proven that we have that skills and the background to kind of bring technology upward and forward. Also, we have already proven ourselves to be like global delivery leaders, right? Like there's a lot of work that US is currently outsourcing to India, and India is doing amazing on that front. I think like going forward, there are additional things that we can look at from AI perspective, cloud security. There are companies from cybersecurity standpoint, a lot of startups are booming. Also, India as a country has started like forward looking from investment opportunity perspective, right? Like a lot of cybersecurity companies have gotten that opportunity to grow their product, to mature their product, and finally bring it to US. I think this is all kind of going to help both the countries to collaborate and do better in cybersecurity space.
I totally agree with Sakshi, and especially when it comes to the relationships, one country has the tools, the other country has the talent. So how about merging together? We've been doing it for a very, very long time, and right now we're sitting here because we have people from India living here who are actually backing up the startups there back in India. And when we talk about AI, there are a lot of startups which are coming from India, and they have the backing from the different VCs or venture capitalists which are part of US. When we talk about cyber, here Suraksha Catalyst as well, it has been supporting a lot of CISOs or new startups and funding them. So I think that's one of the initiatives which is amazing. The other part could be if we talk about internships, fellowships. That's something which is very important, where we have a lot of collaboration from both the worlds, and we need the initiatives from the other part of the world where I come from, India, and similar things, similar synergy is needed from the US side as well, or the people living in India, which are part of Indo-US partnerships or alliances. Then the third thing comes is where we are coming from, where we are enabling more women leaders or leaders per se. Because when we talk about cybersecurity, we have very few women out there, very few leaders out there. So we need to have more and more women leaders who are coming and who are supporting each others. Maybe we can have some forums where we all can get connected. So this is one great forum, and yesterday we connected. But yes, we can have more of such places where we can connect, share thoughts, share ideas, that what we are doing and what we can do better.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always collaboration starts with people. Right, so people is, in the people process technology. When we talk, yes, there are new tools, the AI and everything, but it has to be, we have to come together with a unified vision that whatever we are doing, that is for the benefit of India and US, and that alliance is such a beautiful thing to have. So definitely, thank you for the responses. Coming back to ourselves, right? So when we talked about, we all grew up back home in India and got all the support from the family and the parents, and then we started working. What challenges or unique challenges have you faced as women leaders in cybersecurity? And then, if you were working before cybersecurity, like I was working in IT before I became the cybersecurity leader. So what challenges have you seen, and how did you overcome them? So, before I hand it over to you, Vandana, I'll just, share a very small anecdote from myself. Is I started working, I'm a security analyst in US, and I'm assigned a lead for a security project, a security lead for a project. And I walk in the conference room and people are just talking and they're just making decisions for security and no one is looking, and then this talk, and then they are done, and I'm like, and they're like, yeah, question. I'm like, I'm not approving all of this, and they're like, who are you? So that's one of the, I would call that a beautiful challenge to overcome, because then I'm like, I'm this and this, and I will be providing the leadership for the security work stream of the project. So I think we all have our stories to tell, and things that we may have a beautiful ending or may not have that beautiful ending, but something that we learned from, right? So what would you like to share,
So I would not talk about the cultural challenges, which I think most of us know it and a lot of us has overcome it. But one thing over the past years, which I have realized, is sometimes when we're working with people from different parts of the world, what happens is that we tend to underestimate ourselves. I have done it a lot, trust me. And maybe I do it still to an extent. So when you underestimate as yourself, you do overperformance. I think that's a big challenge. People say performances should be good, but then not overperformance, because it's going to be written in your performance review. So that's something which I learned, that you shouldn't be overperforming, but remember when to say no. And no is not tokenism. You need to remember that yes, when I say no, no to things that you don't feel have a real influence, and yes to the things which actually matter to you. So over the years, that has been something which has shaped me as a person, and it also shaped me to learn something which is new, whether it's any technology, whether it's any people skill, whether it's something where I am actually meeting new people. Networking is something which I've learned.
Yeah. I know we all, we love to gossip. I love to gossip. I love to talk and all. But at the same time, we don't really always feel very confident, comfortable when we were starting our journey to go out there and start the professional networking, right? So that's definitely one of the challenges I could relate to.
Yeah, and actually you need to build your credibility. Exactly. And when you are yourself, then only you can build your credibility.
Yeah. And that's absolutely, you're spot on.
Yeah.
And Sakshi, I'm sure you
I
have.
kind of agree with that point, right? Like I think my journey has been, I started my career in cybersecurity. I was in consulting when I started, and I kind of found myself to be the only women in the room majority of the times, right? And a lot of times, any technical questions, anything like that would be going to the male counterparts, right? And I very early on in my career, I realized that having that credibility really matters, right? Like wherein you know what you're saying, you have that technical expertise, you are hands-on, you understand how the cybersecurity landscape is evolving, and it kind of helped me personally once I kind of started building my career in it and started keeping myself up to date with what's going on in the industry. I was basically able to prove myself and voice out. And actually, I'll share an incident just last week. Like, you know, how this culture is changing, right? Like now calling the male dominated industry, I've kind of come to a point where it doesn't feel like that, right? Like it's changing a lot. In my team, we are women heavy, and I'm really proud of that. But at the same time, I was in a meeting last week with one of my customers, five people on a Zoom call and 4 women. Well, right? Like
Yeah.
it was really proud. I
Yeah.
called it out, right? Like
Yeah.
this is truly
Awesome.
you know, women helping other women,
Awesome.
and we have to help each other to
Alright.
kind of lift each other up, right?
Alright.
And stuff like that. So
Just one 15 seconds rapid fire question that people can take with them. Favorite book?
My favorite book is from Adam Grant.
Alright.
I think right now I'm looking at The Happiest Kids in the World.
Awesome. All right. This has been a really fun panel for me. And every time I do these, I learn something new. I'm hoping that you guys also enjoyed it a lot. And I'm not sure if you have any closing insight, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, if you like to provide, but I'm really very grateful for your presence here.
Thank you so much. In the end, I would just say that own your story. Be yourself and don't let anybody define your career, your journey, your role. You are you and just compete with yourself. Be natural. That's all.
Awesome.
Yep. I kind of reiterate, right? Like I think being bold and courageous is really important. And once you overcome your own fears, you'll definitely get there.
That's the authenticity, right? Be yourself, be authentic, and own the room, own your own story, right? So glad. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sakshi.